Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Leeds Area Maths Inspiration session. I'm here today with Mansi, who is a university student, and Krina, who is an industry professional working as a software engineer. I'm going to, in this session, interview both of them, and they will be answering some questions about their experience studying and working in STEM-related subjects. That's our science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And yeah, they will think about their experiences growing up a bit, what careers they were interested in, and hopefully you can take away some new ideas about careers and maybe some advice for yourself as an 11 to 16-year-old or an educator working with that age group. So I'll go ahead and start by asking questions to Krina, and then I'll go over to Mansi. So my first question for Krina is, how would you describe your role to someone who knew nothing about it?
That is a difficult question, and it's very kind of long-winded. So I'm going to try my best to shorten it down by using an analogy. So I'm going to use the well-known example of Instagram. So with software engineering, there is kind of two sides to it. There's front end and there's back end. So if we think of this in the Instagram world, when you see a post on your feed and you want to like it, there is that little heart icon which turns red when you hit it. That's what front end development is. It's all about design. It's all about what the user sees. It's all about making that experience of using that platform like really nice, really slick, and easy to use. Whereas when you click that button, what it's actually doing is it's kind of grabbing the idea of that post of your friend. It's sending it all the way down the streams to the database where it's like, okay, this post has 10 likes. This person's just hit it, increment it by 1, return back 11. And that's when you see that the number of likes has gone up by 1. Dealing with all this data and how to send data back and forth to the front end is what back-end development is. And that's primarily done in like languages like Java and Python, whereas front end is done more in like React, if you've heard of that, or Angular. So I work on both sides and I enjoy both sides, but I obviously don't work on Instagram. I'm in an investment bank, so I actually do the same kind of coding, but in a scenario where we are providing client data to our sales desks, who are, communicating with our external clients on kind of potential, trading opportunities and things like that. So in a nutshell, that's what I do day to day.
Very cool. Awesome. What has your career journey been like so far? For example, where did you study at university? What kind of previous work experience did you have before this role?
So my journey has been kind of unconventional. I actually joined the working industry straight out of A-levels. Because I joined the degree apprenticeship program that was at Goldman Sachs and Queen Mary University. So I studied computer science as my undergraduate degree, but I also worked at GS like 3 days a week and then went to uni 2 days a week. So I had no previous computer science background. I hadn't done it for A-levels. I had done maths and I really liked maths and problem solving. So this was kind of in that kind of area. And yeah, I kind of just went along and like went knee deep in the program for 4 years, graduated as a software engineer. And I've now been graduated for 2 years in the same team and doing exactly what I just explained. So it's been quite a unique journey in the sense like I had to balance, learning the theoretical skills at university and then directly applying them to like real life scenarios where things can go wrong and things can go really great as well and make a huge impact in like your clients' lives and like their day jobs. So I kind of got the best of both worlds there. And yeah, it's kind of just excelled me going forward in my interest in software engineering.
Wow, that sounds like a really neat university and yeah, work experience at the same time. That's incredible. Thinking back to perhaps when you were in the age range 11 to 16-ish, what did you think you would be doing as a career? Did you think you'd be software engineer at all?
I think when I was that age, I was just worrying when is lunchtime, what's for lunch. But I think I was kind of open to all things. I didn't really have a strong passion for anything. I was open to, like what was out there and open to learning what opportunities could be there. I kind of was just focused on what I enjoyed, and I've always been a nerd, I guess. I've loved maths, and I was like, maybe there's something to do with that. But then I'm quite a people person, and I've always loved like little kids and stuff like that. So on this other spectrum, I wanted to be a pediatrician, and so I was like, okay, let's just see where the future takes me. I don't have to decide just yet. So I was kind of just enjoying the subjects that I was studying at the time. But then, yeah, when I actually started in A level, I was obviously looking for university courses and opportunities. This popped up, and it was like problem solving and coding and, learning new things. So I was just like, let's give this a shot. And I kind of pivoted and went down this route. So yeah.
No, that's really cool. So I think you've already described a bit about your day today. So how do you think you use kind of these STEM principles? So things in your job throughout the week.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think in software engineering in particular, it comes down to logical thinking and problem solving. And I think my key kind of background in maths A levels was the foundation to that. Being able to logically see, okay, what kind of variables do I have? What knowledge do I have about the problem at the moment? What techniques or experience do I have from past problems that I can kind of fit in and use in this particular problem, and use that to my advantage to come to a solution. Now, it's not quite so straightforward as a maths equation or something like that in software engineering. You do have to dig into, say, like the database or errors that you're getting in your logs and stuff like this. So it's all about having that thinking process of, what do I have like currently? What do I know currently? What can I paint that picture of? And what then am I missing? And trying to then follow a logical step-by-step process to maybe use process of elimination and find out kind of, okay, I've marked this off as not a problem for me. Okay, this might flag up as an issue, and just being able to kind of nitpick, I guess, but in a kind of ordered process where you are getting closer and closer to what that solution could be. So in a long-winded way, on a daily, we kind of get different issues coming up with either, just system errors that crop up, or like if a user isn't able to figure out how to do something, how can we help them? So it's kind of a combination of what are kind of the baseline processes we have in place versus a bit of intuition, a bit of creative thinking of like, okay, this is particular to this user, how do we tackle it? So I kind of like that balance that I have in software engineering of like the mathematical and logical processing with the creativity and that interaction with the clients. I hope that answers
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, definitely these principles of like doing the problem solving. I hear some bits of like scientific method. I think like back to maths proofs, you've got your givens, and right by the end of the proof you have to find based off these things, whatever it is you're trying to show. So
Find the missing X, that was always
find
it.
the missing
Find
X,
the
that's
X in
it.
the equation.
Except now X is like, where's the error or whatever it is. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and then just thinking ahead into the future, where do you see your career in 5 or maybe even 10 years time?
Wow, that is a very good
You
question.
can also just, make your best guess at it, or what are you working on now, maybe like professional development wise, perhaps?
Yeah, no, of course. So I guess I kind of say that I've had a career of 6 years so far, because 4 years was the degree apprenticeship where I was still working, and then 2 years being graduated now. So I like to look back and see like, where did I start and where have I come, what have I worked on? And I basically just started by being a sponge, absorbing all the knowledge from the experts around me, my colleagues, trying to hone down my skill. And I feel like I'm in that position now in my career where I've got those kind of logical thought processes that I can independently solve problems. But it's about that step forward. It's about kind of now sharing that knowledge back to the team, and now kind of using my experience to others' benefits as well, so that we can work more efficiently as a team. And so I think from a technical and a skill set and a STEM perspective, that's what's nice about it, is like you can gain knowledge and then you can share that knowledge. Obviously, everyone has their different logical thought processes and ways to do problem solving, but the goal is the same, kind of the clients come first, and like we want to provide the best service to them. So that's on a technical side. On a more personal side and professional like development side, I think in 5 to 10 years time, I'd like to move maybe into a bit more of a managerial role as well, like be able to, still be coding and still be, honing down my craft, but being able to coach people as well, navigating through their careers, navigating through how to develop this, logical thinking, and being able to give value back to the team that you've obviously been a sponge and absorbed from. So I think I would see myself there, like.
Yeah. No, that's really nice that you've had such a great experience, it sounds like, in being in this really great learning environment while also doing, your career as well as university. And now, yeah, wanting to give it back to other people. That's excellent. Awesome. So I'll now pivot over to asking some questions of Mansi. So how would you describe what you do in your degree right now, to someone who doesn't know much about it?
Okay, so basically, I'm doing masters in economics. Basically, I do like implementation of the data. We have the numbers, we have all the data we get, and then we basically compromise our whole complex numbers and data into a simple line graph or a histogram, which like people can really like see, okay, this is where the progress is going, which we can like analyze afterwards. And like, if you're a person who doesn't know anything about what the data is going through, you can like just see the graph and be like, okay, now I know where we are going wrong, where we have been wrong, and then you can implement new ideas to wherever you were wrong and what wrong steps did you take at that point of time, and you can inculcate the knowledge now and then improvise later on. So that's what basically we do. Like our backhand is like getting the data and making a graph out of it, but also like what people can do with their resources, which are really less, obviously, and what the efficient way is to get things out of the resources, the limited resources you have. That's what an economist would do. So yeah, that's what, and I want to say this to Karina, that I have seen a lot of people, like I have seen a lot of people around me who are like AI developers and they're data analysts. And I have seen them working through the data and like going through the software and being like, this is not going good. We are getting errors. Every time they're getting errors and errors. I know how hard it is because they are working under pressure. I don't know how you deal with it, but I have seen that pressure because even I do coding because we have like little less coding like what you guys have, but we are like on a major very basic level and you guys are on the advanced levels, and I see them in pressure. And it's like we have an assignment to submit and they are like, we know the codes now but we don't have the time, what do we do? There are a lot of pressure, and like I want to give you the respect, like you work under pressure a lot.
No, thank you. I think we all do. Like university has its own pressures, the coursework deadlines, exams, even like everything has its own pressures. It's just how we kind of deal with it. We take that step back, we look at the whole picture, and then we kind of,
Yeah,
step into it bit by bit. So I appreciate that, but such a nice compliment. But I think we all are on that journey of like, wherever you are on that spectrum, whether you're at the beginning of learning about AI or you're, fully fledged banging out algorithms and stuff like this, at some point, that person was also at this first
yeah.
step. It just takes a first step. And then bit by bit, experience comes, and you too will also be able to work well under pressure. So don't worry about that.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
imagine all the students have a similar perspective too, whether they're studying for the GCSEs or working on an assignment, right? They're also going through the error messages of maybe their calculator or in their, tech related class.
yeah,
I very, very much relate. Why do I keep getting a -1 in this math problem? There's not a -1. This is absolute value, right? Um, then, okay, my next question for you would be is, what career did you think you would have when you were 11 to 12 years old, or in that general age range? Were you thinking you'd be an economist of some capacity?
Basically, I mean, Anna might know by now because I told it earlier in IWD as
Hmm.
well. I wanted to
Yeah.
become a gynecologist because I was good at science and I wanted to learn more about what women go through because I was really new to that concept, like whatever you face as a woman. So I was really good at science as well as my maths was good. I don't know why, but up till GCSEs, it was like I aced at maths. After coming to A levels, I was like, yeah, now I know what the actual math is all about. So when you come to derivative integrations, you slow down. I mean, I slowed down a little bit. I was like, wait, what is this maths coming? And also the shift from science to like a commerce background, like business accounts. I was doing that stuff as well because that was like a new thing for everyone because after GCSEs you choose, right? So back in India, we choose like either it's medical field or uh, engineering field or like commerce field or an arts field. So I went for a commerce one because I was like, why not? Because I have been studying these things for like 10 years. I can go for another one, like for 2 years, it's fine. And then I was go exploring that area as well. And that's how I committed to economics actually. Because when I learned about in 2 years, I learned about accounts, business, how does that work, and like how economics plays a role in macro level as at a micro level as well. And even now when I'm learning about it, I just came to know about behavioral economics and like new economics, gift exchange, exam games goes on. So it's like everything new you are gathering, and like it's so unreal kind of an experience, like you're in a different country going through new stuff and then just grabbing all the information you can and like learning through it, because we are getting courseworks and exams obviously, and then you inculcate whatever you learned in your course, and then you put it in your courseworks and exams. It's I don't know how to explain it. So it's so happening that we are doing it, and then you realize like economics is not just about like numbers. You actually understand, like it's in different fields. Like if you go to transport, you understand how the rail and the water mechanism works. If you go to behavioral, you understand how the human works. It's not like what static rules you have in economics, they are being questioned in behavioral. And then when you go to like the main micro and macro level, they are like the basics you have. So it's like those basics are being questioned as well, and then you take it to like different level. You're going to any path, you go to any area, there's some kind of economics over there. I mean, I gave this example to the students as well when I was doing the IWD one, that a little trick I used to play with my parents, where I used to like know what their budgeting was, and then if I wanted something, I would like calculate in my mind, okay, I want this thing, can I get it in this amount, because they're going to use it in their groceries. And then when you calculate it, you have that certain amount left. If that comes under that certain amount, you can ask your parents. If they say no, you have at least you have a you have like a backup option. Like I can say, you have this amount left, why can't you just give it to me? So that's what a tactic I used to use. And I guess that was also a economist in me that used to do these things a lot, and still I do it. But yeah.
That's very fun. Yeah. Now, I'm hearing from both of you that you had kind of this experience early on in your career journey of getting to, yeah, like you said, Karina, being a sponge, right? Getting to absorb all of this really exciting and interesting information about your career field. And it sounds like you also both pivoted a bit from perhaps seems like both medical related things actually, right? Pediatrician, gynecology, into something a bit more, I guess, computational and less, I guess, people focused. And I didn't tell you about this question in advance, but it seems like you're both interested in kind of the people side of things, from what you kind of talked about. So I guess to just kind of think about that, what kind of skills outside of the technical ones have helped you to become, a good people person, I guess, within your career, since that seemed to be something you both valued. You can take a moment to think about it, but if you have any immediate answers, I'd be curious to know.
I mean, I would say that people, whenever I have been with people around me as well, they always say that it's always like the first person. You're a people, I don't know, people say that I have like a very welcoming smile, so that people just come over and then they just like start talking to you. And what at the when I used to work back home, it was like I understood it that way, that if you have a smile on, first of all, you are looking very welcoming. And people, like, if you see at a retail store, they obviously see the things around as well as the person. Like when they enter, they see you first. So that's like you are the face of the store where you are working. So that's what's like I understood that putting a smile on, a little smile on, that little gesture, it helps a lot for a person to like open up to you, either being a customer or in general life as well.
Yeah, definitely. People feeling open and feeling welcome, right? And having that kind of skill in sort of a charisma or presentation style way, which of course, for anybody interested in doing presentation and public speaking sort of things, even these like, interview style things is a great way to have that kind of skill of talking to other people and again seeming open. Do you have anything to add on the sort of soft skill sides of people interactions in a STEM based thing, Krina?
Yeah, like Mansi well said it, and you just picked up on a few things: presentation skills, and actually, when I joined Goldman Sachs from outside of like finishing A levels, I actually hadn't had a previous job. I'd been in sports teams, so I knew like the team culture, I knew how to collaborate, but I've never had to kind of do public speaking or things like that. And when we joined, the HR department had actually put together some training sessions for us, both technical and soft skill. And this was really like interesting for us. We would all go to the session. And one I remember in particular was called GS Toastmasters. And I don't know if you've heard of it, but Toastmasters is actually a worldwide nonprofit organization that has clubs all over the world, basically focusing on public speaking, confidence, and leadership skills. And GS Toastmasters is a corporate club of that. And when I went to this session, it was amazing, like watching the president at the time, how he articulated himself, how he carried the room, how he had such a stage presence and was really, like Mansi said, he had a smile. So he was, engaging and made you want to be there. And it really just transfixed me. And I was like, I want to be able to speak like that, both in my day job, being able to explain well what current problem I'm having or what solution I'm trying to come up with, and be able to articulate my thoughts out onto paper essentially clearly to either my manager or my colleague. But then also in just a general role, like being able to combat and overcome, like you said, those worries that come in your head of like, am I being clear, am I being concise, am I being smiley and warm, and are people really relating to what I'm saying? And I then attended this club for throughout my apprenticeship, the 4 years, and then got onto the committee and got more involved in like organizing and giving it back. So I learned all those skills and that tips to be a confident speaker, to be a coherent leader. And then I got promoted to being the president of the club, which was quite a nice surprise. And so now it's really nice that I can bring my own energy and bring my own vibe and my own confidence into others. And we've set up like a mentorship program where we pair like a more experienced speaker with someone who's recently joined us, and it's really nice to like see their growth and see their confidence grow as well. So you can take more high level general skills like that and apply them into your day job, into the more technical side of things, and it does help. The two do marry together, and I felt like when I do explain things to maybe junior people in the team, it's a lot more clearer, because they may not have the clear picture themselves. So it's nice to talk it through with them, again, with that step-by-step process, and it just makes communication a lot clearer, a lot more concise, and a bit more effective, I guess, for when we're working together. So the two do pair together, but you can enjoy them both in their separate domains.
Wow, that's such an incredible opportunity to now get to have such a major leadership role, it sounds like, in something that really helped you with these, soft skills, communication skills, public speaking, etc., that are, again, really relevant to STEM and relevant to anybody. Absolutely. So we're actually, I think, just out of time. So it's been really great getting to speak to you both. And I think you have shared lots of pieces of advice kind of throughout, related to not necessarily being stuck onto that one thing that you were thinking, to kind of explore all your options, and yeah, getting to learn from all of the amazing people that you get to work with, and hopefully then in the future getting to kind of be a leader to them as well. But yeah, it's been really incredible speaking to both of you, and I hope you had a really great time.
Likewise, it was lovely meeting you both.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
in
nice
that
meeting
case,
you.
yeah, have a really great rest of your Wednesday afternoon.